and good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, and I am excited to be here across multiple platforms tonight for what is World Gratitude Day. And so we are live here from the inside of Love and Stuff community group as well as the Love and Stuff page. And via Restream, we are also live on the Marcus R. Holmes page on Facebook, the Marcus R. Holmes page on LinkedIn Live, HR Passion Guy on Twitch TV, and HR Passion Guy on YouTube events. So if you are on any or all of those platforms, we hope that you will join us and click share and tag some folks to join us in this wonderful opportunity. I'm going to click share and tag a few folks, and I hope that you will do the same thing, whether you are joining us from any of those platforms that I mentioned, or you are coming directly through one of the shares in one of the groups that we've shared to. I hope that you will click share, tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, 5 of your more popular Facebook friends, for those of you that are in Facebook groups that we've tagged, or if you're on other platforms and this has been shared, I hope that you will click share and tag someone to join us. In the comments, you should see the link for you to be able to join. Let's make sure it's on all platforms, so that if you want to come live and share your gratitude moments with us on this World Gratitude Day, I would be honored and privileged to have you join me here live in the studio, as it were, as we go through. All right, I see Corey Mildred King and a few others that are joining. Click share right now and tag somebody to join us in this moment of gratitude. I want to do that, and I'm going to click share and tag some other folks to join us. I hope that you will do the same thing, that you will begin to share this with a few folks. So give me one moment, and I'm going to click share and tag some folks to join us in this awesome, I believe, awesome evening of gratefulness. And we will talk a little bit about that in 1 second. All right. Marcella Winston Brewer has joined us. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. And I hope that whether you're watching on Facebook like Marcella, or you're on LinkedIn Live, or wherever you are, that you will click share and tag some of your connections, tag some of your friends. And if you want to share, click on that link there, and you can come live with me here. I would be grateful for any and all of you to join me live here in these moments of gratitude. I think it is so important to have moments of gratitude. And so that's why I am just very excited to have the opportunity to have you join me. And we will get started with that in just a moment. I'm just tagging some folks to jumpstart our discussion, and grateful for all of you that are here, and hoping that you'll join me in the tagging of some folks to get them engaged with us. All right, tagging just a few folks. All right, fantastic. Thank you for joining us. All right, some on this platform, some over there. Okay, very good. All right, just tagging a few people. Thank you for joining. If you are joining on any or all of these platforms, click share and tag 5 of your closest friends, 5 of your more popular friends or connections or YouTube followers to join us in this discussion. Love and Stuff is a wonderful community, if you are not aware of that. And we're excited that you can join our community right now on our page, community page. If you're not there already, before you leave tonight, go to the Love and Stuff page and join us there. I do want to mention that on the Love and Stuff page, you can also go through that Love and Stuff page to our Shopify site, and we have some new masks that are there. We are a proponent here in the Love and Stuff community, whether you have chosen to be vaccinated or not, you should still be wearing masks in large groups and indoors. And so we have a couple of versions of the mask there that you can purchase. And as always, a portion of those proceeds go toward helping those who need us most, so that we can increase the amount of love in the world. All right, I'm going to click share for a few more folks. And I hope that you will do the same thing and tag some folks to join us in this evening's in this evening's discussion. All right. Okay, getting there. Okay. All right. Okay. We shall keep moving. All right. Fantastic. All right. Thank you, those of you that are joining. I'm clicking share, tagging some folks. Chaplain Pauline Belbray, it's so great to see you. I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays here in Love and Stuff, one of our lovely Love and Stuff chaplains. And I hope that you will click that link if you decide to come on and just share with us. I'm so grateful that you're here. All right. Dariel Taliaferro. I may have mispronounced that, but I'm going to learn it. It's a beautiful looking name. Thank you so much for joining us. I probably mispronounced it. You are welcome. It is so great to see you. All right. I am going to get started. Thank you, Tiffany Funderburk, for joining us. Click share and tag some other folks to come. It is World Gratitude Day. And I wanted to ensure that we have a wide range of people to share in this. Thank you, Coach Pam. I am praying for you, one of your favorite aunties, Johnny Bass. And thank you for sharing your grateful moments about her. Hey there. All right. So I'm going to get started. And again, thank you for joining us across all platforms. Today is World Gratitude Day 2021. If you didn't know that kind of day existed, it does. It's a day to celebrate the impact of showing appreciation toward others. Okay, that's what Gratitude Day is about. It affords us the opportunity to pause and recognize the transformative power gratitude has to energize individuals, positively influence people's lives, and drive cultural change in the workplace, which is why I included those of you on LinkedIn Live tonight. I don't often include LinkedIn Live on the Love and Stuff platform, but gratefulness and so gratitude is the overarching long-term vision. People say gratitude, but really gratitude is something that you have to, it's the destination. Gratefulness is the awe-inspiring in the moment. And so we are piggybacking on this Gratitude Day because it's really about gratefulness. It's really how grateful are you? And I am so grateful for many reasons, but among them, we have been hearing and seeing so much in the world today. Just on last week, I attended the funeral homegoing celebrations of two young people, early 20s to 30-year-old, both untimely, both tragic. And I had to watch those mothers, especially. I watched those mothers as they laid their sons to rest, two African-American men in our community. And then I learned during the course of preparation for that of the passing of my last living aunt, my Aunt Lucille in Saginaw, Michigan, who was 84, had been married 61 years. And I got the chance, my nephew and I, to drive up there, which is about an hour and a half from Detroit, to drive up there and see her as she was moving into hospice, but she was fully awake. And that happens so often. When you go to see people, you expect to see one thing and you see another, fully awake and present and remembering and laughing and joking with us. And she made her transition. I watched generals like Mother Stacks and vocal staples in our community like Victoria Vaughn Hudson, people well beloved like Johnetta McLeod, and other names that I could call in a season where it seems like COVID isn't letting up, and people believe that it is, but in a season where it appears time after time after time, our timelines and text messages and email are filled with bad news. And so it reminded me of something that my mother said, and I made a post earlier. And I will read some excerpts from the Gratefulness Journey every day. What are you doing in the next 30 days to transform your life? Because I think it's fitting for this time. While I hope some of you will join me live and click on that link. it's fitting for this time where it seems like we're losing everything. And my mother once said to me in 2012, she passed away in 2014, but in 2012, she said to me, as I had decided not to prepare Thanksgiving dinner, she didn't smell anything cooking. I had moved back home to caregive for her, and she didn't smell anything cooking. And she said, you know, what we doing for dinner tomorrow? I said, well, I think, Mama, I'm going to go to Uptown Barbecue and get us some dinners. And she said, what? She said, oh, no. It's not too late. Go here and get this turkey and do this and do this. You got just enough time to do this. I said, okay. And I was just, in my mind, I had purpose because she had lost two sisters, and I had lost my dad, her husband, of 60 years, almost 60 years. Three of her children, three of my siblings, three of my four siblings. And I thought, what is there to celebrate? I said, I just don't want to do this. We don't have to fake this. We're not celebrating. And with tears in her eyes, she grabbed my hand and said, you have the right to grieve for as long as you want to grieve. That's your right. But you must also reserve the right to take inventory of and be thankful for everything and everybody that you have left. Every time I say it, it's the goosebumps, the hair raises on the back of my neck, because it is so true. And as I peel back the onions, the layers of the onion, as it were, of life, I continue to uncover new parts of that. And so for those of you that are in a space where you're grieving, and no one should challenge your space about grieving, you alone negotiate that with the power of love, which is God. People will tell you, get over it. It's time to move past it. None of that applies. You have my permission, if ever you needed permission, to tell people, go with love. That's what you have the permission to tell people. You grieve at your own pace. But I challenge you that you must also reserve the right to take inventory of and be grateful for everything that you have left. And one of the things that is a revelation to me in my evolution through grief is one of the things that you have left, my friends, are memories. No one can rob you of the museum of memories that you have with those loved ones. And you can powerfully unlock them in your memory to bring them forward in a space where you're sad, to shift your energy and atmosphere and make you joyous, peaceful, and glad. And it's tough to do, but it's a real thing that you can do. I'm going to read an excerpt from my book. Of course, I want you to get the book, The Gratefulness Journey, every day. It's on Amazon, but I'm going to read a couple of excerpts because I think they're relevant to this time and season and this day of gratitude, where we have, I'm just thinking of another gentleman, Wilbur Fulton, who passed away suddenly, who will be funeralized, I believe, on Thursday. I may not be able to be with that family, but I'm certainly praying for them. People who are here today, gone today, and families and communities, whole churches are grappling with. Bishop Dunlap, I'm just thinking of the people just recent, and there is a whole long list of people, but people are grappling in these moments because it just doesn't feel like there's anything to be grateful for. And I want to challenge you to think about one of the things you can be grateful for of the people, even if they've just left, and I know it's fresh, are the memories, the wonderful, beautiful memories that you have of them. Bilal Muhammad has joined us. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tiffany, for sharing this. I appreciate it. So from my book, in the 5th chapter, I sound like I'm taking a text, but I'm not. So let me make sure I get that right. Chapter 5, speaking the 3 things aloud 3 times each, is a part of the regimen that we believe that you should do as a part of your gratefulness journey. Yes, thank you for sharing. There's a section in there that I'm going to read. I'm only going to read 2 sections, so and I want to share with you from them. Hello, Mahasan. Thank you for joining us. Please click share and tag 5 people. A section in the book talks about this special part of our journey in this gratefulness journey. Dwell in your experience, I write, and make an inventory list with 4 columns: failure, gain, blessing, lesson. Failure, gain, blessing, lesson. Okay? When you experience something unpleasant, in this case, it could be grief. It could be the divorce of a relationship, which is breakup of a relationship or divorce of marriage. That's grief. It could be the loss of your home. Now that this foreclosure has been lifted, someone is maybe on the brink of eviction or has been evicted. You could have lost your home, lost a job, right? People say, I didn't lose, I know where it is. No, people are experiencing the deficit of things and people that once were a part of their fabric that are no longer. Okay, that's what I mean. Try to connect with the part of that experience that you can move from failure or disappointment into one of the other 3 columns. Remember, that's failure, gain, blessing, lesson. Okay. Feel the experience for what it is, which is something that we do not as often as we should. We take elixirs, we take drugs, we drink, we have sex, we do all of these things so that we will be numb. And I am advising you to feel the experience for what it is. There's a finality when you close a casket. There's a finality when you lower that casket in the ground. And you need to be able to be present to feel that for what it is. It's the final part of the chapter on this side. For those of you that walk in love and in Christendom and understand a relationship, there is eternal life. There is another life, right? But there's a finality to that. Feel the experience for what it is and move toward what you want it to become. What you want it to become. And you can get to a place where you celebrate the funeral date, the death date. You can also let that day be one where you don't want to see the world. The choice is yours, and you get to experience that if you so choose, and to make it to become something other than the worst day of your life. And it could be in that moment, but you get the possibility to move it forward to being something different. This is sort of a goal visualization, I write. It creates a mental image of future events to increase one's expectation of success and to promote the behaviors that will bring about that success. And success for you could be just being able to get out of the bed in the first year on that date that you funeralized that loved one, on that date that loved one was taken away from you tragically, on that date that relationship, that marriage was officially dissolved in the court's eyes. Okay? But it's what you want it to become. For instance, writing about and imagining a best possible self has repeatedly been demonstrated to increase people's mood and well-being. And there are studies that are listed in the book that you can look up to read. This is how you can pivot or view a loss or a failure as a gain, blessing, or a lesson. For example, I lost a significant contract once with a church that had hired me to provide productions for its youth. It felt like my heart was about to beat out of my chest. I could hardly breathe, all right? Thinking about the ramifications that could follow. I could be sued, right? I made poor programming decisions, and I didn't get all of the clarity that I needed for the target audience. That was my failure. And I sat in that and I owned it. And it was a loss of income. It was a loss of reputation, brand presence. It was a loss. The gain that I moved that loss into, although I lost a client and was quite embarrassed and suffered some brand challenges, I gained valuable insight into how to utilize design thinking to ensure that the programming decisions and the target audience were well thought out in advance of the production, right? I gained valuable insight. I lost resources, but I gained insight. The blessing was the experience, not the outcome. Having the experience of securing a contract of that size and being able to book it and feature it was a blessing, even though the outcome wasn't something that I felt should be celebrated. That's important because I think when we fail, when we lose, we forget that we had. Don't discount if you've ever been fired from a job or if you've ever been jilted in a relationship. It's a blessing to have been in it for whatever part of it that was good. Okay. And the lesson in this particular thing was there's life after failure. And if you can acquire the new skills needed to address old challenges, then you may be on to a successful next opportunity. And thank you, Vanita Smith, one of my childhood friends. Thank you for joining us. I hope you will click share. I write, there will be tough moments along the journey, believe me. You can begin to leverage the powerful memories of those gratefulness moments to reframe the meaning of events, not the events themselves. You cannot change, unfortunately, that your loved one passed away. You can't change that your spouse decided to divorce you or cheat on you. You can't change that they let you go from your job, but you can change the meaning of it. And you have power in your memories to help you do that. You may experience something pleasant, but how you harness the power of gratefulness to reframe your perspective of the situation is a game changer. And one of the powerful ways, people often, people that I've seen that have experienced loss, sometimes it's the closing of the casket. Sometimes it is the lowering of the individual in the ground. And for me, for my mother, in her passing, and just to put it in some more context, she had severe health challenges, but the day that she passed, I was not expecting for her to pass. But that's Princess Irene Holmes. She's going to do it on her own time in her own way. And the day after that, a dear kindergarten friend of mine posted and his condolences. And then shortly thereafter, he passed suddenly. Wasn't expecting for him to pass. Just, God, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I get to the grave and I look around and think of the people who would have been there with me, my siblings, who 3 of them who were already passed were gone, so they weren't there. Just a few friends were at the gravesite as they were lowering her body into the ground. And I captured that memory of them lowering her body into the ground, and it was gut-wrenching for me. But what I learned along my journey is I was able to take that powerful memory of the gravesite workers lowering my mother, and maybe not with as much care, by the way, Woodlawn, as I would have wanted. But as they were lowering her in the ground, and I was thinking, this is it. I took that powerful memory to remember that my mother had walked with me in good times and bad times, all the way up until the time she couldn't walk. And here was my opportunity to not just look at it being her lowered in the ground, but to look at it to mean I walked with my mother all the way to the end. And you see, that's the meaning of that powerful memory for me now. Not that she was being lowered in the ground, this is it. But it was really, this is it. I've gone all the way with her. See, that memory feels different to me, being a caregiver to someone who was the ultimate caregiver. It was important to me to give her the kind of care that she gave to all of her children and all of her grandchildren, all of her foster grandchildren, and all of her children all around the country. That's who my mother was. And so that powerful memory of watching the casket being lowered into the ground now has a different meaning to me. I gained valuable insight that it was the last act. It was the last moment of walking with her all the way. I'm going to read another section. Wanda Clinton has joined us. Thank you so much. As we get to 8 o'clock, I am just reading some sections on this gratitude day. Whether or not you get my little 70-page book, it is available on Amazon. It's a quick read, a short read, but it's a powerful read. And the reason I want you to get it, because there are 3 things in this book that I want you to put into practice into your everyday and watch your life change over the next month. I challenge you to do it. In chapter 6, that says, finally, I read this. It's for me, I'm going to hopefully not be a tearjerker, but for me, the sentiment behind it is, you've been a great son, and you don't have to spend the night tonight. You have done everything you can. Those were the last words that my mother, Princess Irene Holmes, spoke to me before succumbing to encephalopathy, the next day. She was in Sinai Grace Hospital. I watched in agony for the next year as my mother, a strong and independent woman, struggled to regain consciousness. I'd already seen quite a bit of loss. And on December 15th, 2014, my mother, then 83 years old, gained her wings. Amid all the loss that I had experienced, that my family had experienced, the passing of my mama complicated my gratefulness journey in many, many ways. She lived her life to gain the ultimate reward, to live with Christ. Thus, to die was her gain. Yet I wanted my mother to live on. I felt that she deserved so much more from life for all that she had sacrificed. I didn't get to take her to Hawaii. Of course, she would have needed a sleeping pill to fly over all that water. She didn't get to see me or my nephew Felix married. And at this rate, neither will anyone else. She didn't get to see Autumn graduate high school or college and mature into the incredible young lady that she has become. She lived ready to leave. And I wasn't ready for her to leave or to live without her. For months, I lost sight of the lesson of gratefulness, simply going through the motions of work and music, music and work, and autumn in between. By September of 2015, I found myself in several battles with my employer, with my health, and with my home. Seated in a psychologist's office, I received another important lesson. He said, Autumn will graduate. Your mother has graduated. And now it's time for you to graduate. There are levels to this thing called gratefulness. A new and higher level is always calling you, leading you to grow, move, and deepen gratefulness throughout your daily walk. Life can rob you of a position, but it cannot remove you from your posture of gratefulness unless you allow it. So they don't give you the position. Maybe they even give it to someone so unqualified that it's both clear and laughable. But God will always bless you, especially if you stick to the posture of gratefulness. Yes, Princess graduated to a heavenly matriculation. Autumn graduated high school and went to college on scholarship and graduated from the University of Michigan with a degree in psychology. I found new levels to aspire to, new roles to play as uncle, daddy, coach. I, again, had to take inventory of what I had lost and what I had left. I'm grateful that a beautiful woman, my mother, Princess Irene Holmes, now my biggest cheerleader in the angelic balcony, gave me such sage advice. And that advice again is you have the right to grieve over whatever you want to grieve over and for as long as you want. You have the right to grieve your marriage dissolution, your relationship breakup. You have the right to grieve the loss of that job that was your dream job or your source of income. You have a right to grieve over the loss of your home to foreclosure or seizure. You have the right to grieve whatever it is that you have lost, whomever it is, your parent, your grandparent, your aunts, your uncles, your children, your spouses, your coworkers, your friends. Reserve that right. Don't let anybody talk you out of that grief because you need to experience and feel what it is. Don't numb it. Don't medicate it. Don't ignore it. Feel it. Sit in it. Experience it. But in the words of Princess Irene Holmes, you must also reserve the right. You must also reserve the right to be thankful and grateful for and take inventory of everything and everybody that you have left. Maybe your spouse left, and maybe the love that remains are the memories of the good times. Those are the things. And maybe the people that remain are those other people in your life that you love. Some of which you may have simply ignored because you were putting all into your relationship. And maybe those person's love will feed you, will be sustenance to you as you pick up the pieces to be awakened and aware for the next love that's coming. Maybe your landlord kicked you out, or maybe the mortgage company foreclosed. And maybe that new house, that new home will be filled with peace and no stress. Maybe this is the opportunity for you to take inventory of the investments and dollars that you do have left. And how can you pivot and evolve into something better? Maybe you've lost what feels unconscionable to lose a child. And maybe you have left other children. Maybe you have left a godchild or the opportunity to be a parent to someone else that needs you. You see, it does not replace what you've lost. You have the right to grieve that. You have the right to take inventory of it too. But you must also take inventory of the stuff you have left. God left you as caretaker over the stuff you have left. What will you do with what you have left? Now, for some, it's fresh because you just lost your spouse. You just lost your son or your daughter. And my heart goes out to you. I'm thinking of my Aunt Lucille, who made the best homemade tortillas and tacos, who made the best homemade cookies, or some of the best, and who had the best hugs and kisses. She was so sweet. I know that many people that will gather this weekend will all say that in concert. They will say, she was so sweet. And it's painful that her passing closes the chapter of my mother's siblings, 13 siblings, all of them resting, and my Aunt Lucille closes that chapter of my mother's siblings. I'm sitting in that. I'm sitting in that grief of knowing that the elders have moved on up and they've passed the torch to some of us who don't feel that we're ready to even hold a torch. They were the storytellers in the family, the historians of the family. They knew all of the details. I had an Uncle Candy that some people don't even know that we had an Uncle Candy. But my Aunt Lucille painstakingly managed details. I'm sitting in the grief of knowing that the trips to Saginaw will be different. You see, coming up in my adolescence, my parents would drive me up there for the summer and leave me among 3 houses. My Aunt Lucille and my Uncle WM, Uncle William, we call him WM, and they have been married 61 years. My Aunt Lucille, my Aunt Lizzie, rather, my mother's sister Lizzie, and her husband, Uncle Robert. And my mother's older brother, Uncle Chuck, Uncle David, who we called Uncle Chuck, and his wife, my Aunt Marcel. And over the summer, I would rotate to those houses, probably as much as they could handle me. And I would have the best of time. You see, on my dad's side, I didn't really have cousins in my town that were my age. I am the youngest of the Wes and Mary Holmes grandchildren, first generation grandchildren. And so I didn't have cousins my age. But on my mother's side, I had a number of cousins my age. And what an amazing summer it was to hang out with those cousins and to play with them. And they all favored me because, you see, I didn't live in their town. It was something special to them to have me. But boy, was it special to me to have them. And among them was this patient, kind, sweet Aunt Lucille, who made my cousin June share his comic books and the TV when he wanted to watch wrestling, and who made amazing, fun dinners something extraordinary. I have the memories left, and I have her husband, her children, and many others left that I need to be about the business of loving better and more. As I take inventory, and I invite you to do the same, as you have experienced the loss of people that you've loved and love, are you taking inventory of the people that still remain? Someone needs to feel the love that you experienced from that loved one. It does not replace it. It is a constant reminder that you've experienced love and that it was meant to give away. And someone needs to receive that kind of love. Take inventory. Write a list. Write a list of everything you miss. Every nook and cranny, every detail. If it's a person. If it's a home, write everything about that home that you're going to miss or that you miss. And sit in that, because you have the right to grieve over the things that you have lost. Some things that you poured your time and your love and your sweat and your equity in. Years in relationship, your treasures, your talents in. You have the right to grieve the loss, the net loss of those things. but you better make a list of everything you have left and every powerful and good memory and lesson and blessing that you gained from those things that you lost. Make that list and check it twice to make sure you've captured everything and everybody for which you can be grateful. I'm grateful for my Aunt Lucille, and I'm grateful for Princess Irene and all of the memories I can pull forward right now when I am filled with tears. And tears will go on. As long as you have a heart, you will have a memory that has been broken. But the memory, my friends, reminds you that there was a pre-broken state. There was a time that that marriage was good. Hopefully, or you wouldn't have stayed in it. There was a time that you loved that house, that apartment. There was a time that you loved your mom, your dad, your son, your daughter. As long as you have a heart, you'll have a memory of where and when it was broken, but you also have the memory of the pre-broken state that you can powerfully pull forward every time and any time that you're feeling lonely, low, or in despair. And that, my friends, is the gratefulness journey every day. It is not just a flowery thought of, oh, I'm just going to think flowery things, because life will bring you some hard experiences that will knock you off your feet. But you must look at those opportunities while you're sitting there off your feet, while you're sitting in it, that these are opportunities for you to take inventory of what the gain, blessing, and lesson is in that situation. What memories that you can pull forward to help you recover and pick up the pieces, and that you can cast forward to envision this time being different than just sitting on the ground. Yeah, you can be sitting on the ground, say, I'm going to mark September 21st, the day I got knocked on my tail. If I were Herbert Holmes, I would use a different word. September 21st is the day I found out he was cheating on me. September 21st is the day I got a pink slip. Or you can take inventory and say, September 21st is the day I got up. September 21st is the day I got my freedom. September 21st is the day I was awakened. You can derive from the failure or the loss the meaning that you want it to mean and the meaning that you want for it to become. But I challenge you that you must first take inventory of it. And when you're counting something, if you're like me, you're counting things. I used to, in one career in life, worked as an operations management trainee. And part of that, I had to learn the operations of the business. And part of that was inventory, which I hated. Because I worked for a food service company, I had to go into the freezers and count boxes. And these were sub-zero temperatures. So I had to, whether it was summer, winter, or fall, the end of the month, I had to wear these overalls and things so that I wouldn't get frostbite or too cold, right? I hated doing that, but I had to go in and see the boxes, count them. And if there was produce in the refrigeration area, I had to count those, I had to touch them. I had to be reminded of the experience. That's what inventorying does. When you count things, it unlocks the memories associated with those things. So when you're counting your failures and your losses, it's going to bring up all of those feelings that you had. It'll bring you to moment zero, moment one. But you must also reserve the right, my friend, to count your blessings. The hymn says, name them one by one. You must count them, and you must rehearse them, and you must celebrate them, and you must Be grateful for them. Thank you so much. I'm watching across platforms. Thank you, Tiffany. It is World Gratitude Day, and I would be remiss if I didn't, in World Gratitude Day, having written a book about gratefulness, turned upside down, gratefulness journey every day, I would be remiss not to take this moment. And as I have said, Brother David, who is one of my grateful living mentors, I call him, who is, I think, now 94, talks a lot about grateful living. And I believe that the difference in gratitude, as people describe it, they describe it as this feeling in the moment. But really, gratitude is more aspirational. It's more the destination. It's more the state of being. Okay. And you don't get to gratitude by just waking up. You got to practice gratefulness. And I use that word gratefulness, and people use them interchangeably, because I want people to think about not just the state of being at some future, not just the continual state of being, but you got to practice it. It's like Christianity. You got to practice Christianity. It's like marriage. You got to practice it. It's like medicine. You got to practice it. And you don't focus on the aspiration of getting to some end point. You focus on the journey, step by step and day by day. And that's where you get the awe-inspiring power of gratefulness in your life, because you then begin to make more moments of gratefulness and more moments of gratefulness. And your brain starts to create new pathways to remind you to go back to gratefulness. Go back to it. Go back to it. I love the way you feel when you go back to it. Your body starts to respond. Your limbic resonance starts to respond. You start to feel up an atmosphere with gratefulness. What would your home be like, or mine? What would our workplaces be like? For those of you that are watching on LinkedIn, if we made moment by moment by moment by moment by moment by moment by moment grateful events every day, all day, as we're working with others, as we're reflecting on the work that we're going to do, as we're thinking about how we can make it better for our customers, as we're thinking about our stakeholders, if we had gratefulness front of mind. There is science around gratitude and gratefulness that says that you will be 5 times more productive in the moment and 48 times more productive in the day, that your thinking will be 18% more clearer on things that you need to get done in a day. So it impacts your productivity, and it opens up your empathy for others. Think how differently your marriage would be if, when you disagree, you sit in that disagreement and say, I don't agree with you, and I don't like how this makes me feel, but I'm sure grateful that we're together. We're doing this together. Remember the first argument we had, baby? We made it through that first argument, and we're going to make it through this one. I'm grateful for you. Imagine how that lands on your spouse, because you just now told them, I respect that we have differences, and I believe that we can get past them. That's gratefulness at work. Because see, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you're bound to disagree with them. But do you respect them enough to allow them to have their opinion, their position, and say, how do we get past this? Hey, let me pull from our past. This is what we did last time. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be connected to you. So this relationship is of value to me. How different our arguments would be if we really practice this gratefulness in our relationships. We practiced it with our children, with our coworkers, which is an area of focus. I've got to practice it more with coworkers, so that we're building moment by moment, enriching lives and relationships, and getting results thereby through creating an environment of gratefulness. That's the power of gratefulness. And I hope this world catches on fire with gratefulness. I hope a world that has been darkened by racism, that has been darkened by sexism, that has been darkened by xenophobia, homophobia, that has been darkened by hate, that has been darkened by strife and war and murder and rumors of war. I hope that it catches on fire with gratefulness. And it can do that, you see, if you and I make every day a day of gratefulness. It's 9:23. Thank you, Karen. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Vicki, for joining us. I will say, Karen, and thanks for joining us. I want to invite all of you to join us at Inside of Love and Stuff on Facebook. It's a brand new group. It's designed so that the 3,970 or so people, who's counting me, right? That we can come together. I want to meet more of the folks in Love and Stuff, the people who click follow. I want to meet you. And so as soon as we get to our numbers of a little more of people who have joined Inside of Love and Stuff, we're going to do a messenger room and have you come in. And if it gets too big for the messenger room, we'll go to Zoom because we can have a lot more people in Zoom just to see your face. And my purpose is so that you come into this community understanding that our goal is to increase the amount of love in the world. And we do that one person at a time, one interaction at a time, and no one is left out of that. Because I believe that whether you have a phenomenal relationship or whether you just came out of a phenomenal one, that we all can increase the amount of love in our world and the world around us. So join the Inside Love and Stuff group by going to the Love and Stuff page under groups. You'll see Inside of Love and Stuff. I'd love to have you join us there. We are excited to have the Love and Stuff community. I can't tell you, I've met some amazing people over these last 4 years. Some of them I already knew, but many of them I didn't. And I'm excited for the opportunity to get to know more people. And who knows what these connections will bring. I believe that you start with conversations. And this is true for any relationship. I'm getting ahead of myself because soon we're going to have, in probably just about 2 weeks, I'm going to be debuting for job seekers. It's called Your Journey 30, 60, 90 Days to a Job Offer. For those of you that don't know, I'm a human resources professional. But part of that talks about networking. And you have to increase your network through your net worth. Your net worth gets increased by your network, okay? By the people that are in your circle. So if you're not getting the kind of return on your investment or you're not making the kind of money you want, you need new people in your network. Doesn't mean that you got to disavow the old people. Sometimes you do. But you need new people in your network if you want new things that the people in your network can't bring you. Okay? And that starts with conversations. Simply asking people, how you doing? Let me learn a little bit more about you. Where are you from? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies? Did you see those Lions? They're kind of sorry this year. Just conversations. Conversations lead to connections. Once you start connecting to people, you have things in common with them. You start to connect to them on commonality. Oh, we both think the Lions are sorry. Oh, we both work in human resources. Oh, we both live in Detroit. Oh, we both like Tiffany Funderburg's ice cream at Cold Stones. Shameless plug. I haven't been there yet, but I bet it's good. Right? You start to connect to people. You move from connections, I believe, to convictions. And what I mean by that is you get to find out who people really are. Now, people are telling you who they are through their actions. But once you move past connections, you move to a place of transparency and trust where people show you what they believe, show you what they're about. And that's the place that you want to get to make love grow in your world. You want to get to convictions. You want people telling you, this is who I am, this is what I practice, this is what I believe. And when you know those things about people, you know how to be aware of how to interact and operate and grow that relationship. See, you can't go from conversations directly to convictions. Now, along that trail, people are showing you who they are, but you want to get to the place where people tell you who they are. They pour out themselves to you, and that's convictions. And you should be doing the same when you get to that place. It is an emotionally and psychologically safe place where both of you can let down your hair. That is what I want for all of you in every relationship that you have, because it will then be the most powerful when you build that trust in relationship and you know who the people are that are in your network. You can ask them to do anything for you and you will do anything for them, thereby increasing your net worth. Once you deepen those connections through conversations and then deepen them to move them to convictions, you can utilize and leverage those relationships to accomplish just about anything. And that is what you want to do in a network that's as powerful as Love and Stuff. From pastors and preachers, to teachers and actresses, to musicians, to moms and dads, single and married, all types of folks from all types of walks of life are in the Love and Stuff community. And I want to see you connect to them and grow your network and increase your net worth. We're at 9:29, and I just want to thank you. I am holding myself to this hour, and I just want to remind you that the Gratefulness Journey every day is available. It is a part of my story. It's from a series of books. I'm working on the next book, which will be about my friends and what friendship means to me in gratefulness. Friends are the family I believe that we choose. And so my next book is about friendship. And so I hope that you will get this book, because I think not only does it chronicle parts of my journey, again, it's a short read, but I think these 3 simple tools are powerful and can shift your life. If you find yourself frustrated or angry, you find yourself not getting over the past hurts, you find yourself not being able to move forward from some part of your life where you felt stuck, and you find yourself angry and depressed and sad, I invite you to get this book and try these principles, build habits with these principles, and I think you will be amazed and you will be grateful that you got it. Join us inside the Love and Stuff. Don't forget to go to the Love and Stuff page, click follow, and you'll be notified of all of the lives that we do. We do this every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix, which happens every other Saturday. I think the next show will be October 1st at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we are just excited to build our love network. And it would be even greater, even better if you joined us. I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist, and I am here as the founder and facilitator of the Love and Stuff community to invite you to join us and become part of this community where there are some great people, all of us with the intent to increase the amount of love in our world and then in the world at large. Have a grateful evening. I'll see you soon, and happy Gratitude Day.